Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Money Making End Zones. Hi, my name is Alec Gluckman. I'm your host, and my co host, Nick Slane, where we talk about fantasy football, sports betting, and some big hot takes for this upcoming NFL year.
Now, this is going to be an interesting offseason because, it's never too early to start talking about this stuff, and we all know how exciting the NFL season is. When it comes to fantasy, what do you think is a good projected number one pick that people should be looking for?
Well, personally, I think Devonte Adams would be a very good number one pick because his QB and him have worked in college. The Raiders have a high pass option playbook, and why I would not take Jonathan Taylor is because Jonathan Taylor has a new QB who he's never worked with, and Matt Ryan, as you've seen in his career, has had Julio Jones, who has been called a top 5 to 10 wide receiver. So I would think Matt Ryan will go back to vintage Ryan and be a passing QB. And he will still hand off Jonathan Taylor the ball, but I think Jonathan Taylor's a good second round pick for you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this kid right here is a Raiders fan. As much as I love Devontae Adams, I don't think that he should be a first round pick. I really think anybody should go with running back. And I think that running back of choice should definitely be Jonathan Taylor. Look, Jonathan Taylor is an absolute beast. He he doesn't go down, it seems like, and he's probably one of the biggest backs behind Derrick Henry. I think that Jonathan Taylor really has a chance to really just come out and become a real superstar, even though he already is, but really escalate his game that much more this year, especially with a good passing QB, as you said, like Matt Ryan. They're going to be the defense is going to stay back, is going to want to blitz more. That's going to allow Jonathan Taylor to get through the secondary. So I really think that Jonathan Taylor is a great guy.
Give us this. So I'm getting a call from New York about a hot take. Give me a minute and we'll play for you. Welcome to the show.
Hello, my name is Dylan. I'm from New York, and I think that you both got it all wrong about the number one overall pick in fantasy drafts. First
Who
of
do
all,
you think? Who would you take with the number one overall pick?
I would take Derrick Henry because first of all, I would never take a wide receiver at number one when you know there's guys like AJ Brown or even Debo Samuel in the second round if someone can fall that far. Now, Jonathan Taylor is not a terrible pick, but I just think that Derrick Henry was on pace for back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons before he got injured, and injuries are a tough thing to predict. So if I'm picking, I'm just picking on the highest upside, and I think the guy that can easily lead the league in rushing this year would be Derrick Henry.
Well, Dylan from New York, here's the that's a nice pick, but the reason why I would pick Jonathan Taylor is he is a also very good receiving back. Derrick Henry does not receive that much, a little bit, but not as much as Jonathan Taylor. And in a PPR league, you can get more points out of him that way.
And also, Derrick Henry has lost one of his key O line members, and Jonathan Taylor has stayed with the same O line that he had from last year. And so that's why I think I would rather, if I was to choose between those two running backs, I would also choose Jonathan Taylor because he was a top three overall person in fantasy PPR last year, and he was a big addition to my team, which helped me win 3 out of 5 championships last year in the league. And I have a hot take here that the Las Vegas Raiders will be the AFC West champions.
Oh no! See, that's where you're wrong. Again, you're also a Raiders fan. So, I really think, as a neutral spectator, that the Denver Broncos are going to take this division. Really, I really think this because Russell Wilson's leadership is going to take over this year. For a younger group of guys who are also good, he's got a great defense. He's got a better O line, and he's got a good running game, which for the last few years he has not had in Seattle. It's a wonder he even made the playoffs. But you know why he did make the playoffs in Seattle? Because he's Russell Wilson, and he's going to do it again. He's going to carry his leadership over to Denver, and I think that the youth, besides Derek Carr, of that division is going to carry over.
Actually, I see where you're going with it, but Russell Wilson doesn't have as top target wide receivers as he did in Seattle with DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and that other receiving corps. Vegas as well not has a top two, if not the best, wide receiver corps in the league, and a very highly top 10 QB. with Derek Carr, and our defense has stepped up with the new addition of Chandler Jones. We still have Josh Jacobs, and if we are lucky enough to get Henry Ruggs back, the Raiders might actually have a shot at the Super Bowl, and that's coming from the.
Yes, we do. We really gotta. I don't know what you're talking about right now, Mr. Raiders fan. I mean, seriously, I have never seen such Raiders bias. Like, seriously, Derek Carr, a top 10 quarterback? What are you talking about? Derek Carr has shown, although underrated, he has not shown that he's able to take over with the 10 above and with people like Brady, Mahomes, and other quarterbacks like that. I could just keep going down the list.
All right, why I think Carr is a top 10 QB is because if you saw the team that we had last year with the coach being fired, all the issues on and off the field, he stayed calm and cool under the pressure and was able to lead us to the playoffs, in which we did lose to the AFC champions on a very terrible missed call, personally. And there was a bunch of hate from around the entire league about that one call. So I honestly think that the Raiders, with a new offensive weapon, a whole new front office and coaching staff, and a very well added defense, we can actually make the playoffs.
Another reason, just to add on my take before about Denver Broncos, look, we know Russell Wilson wants to leave Seattle. He wanted to leave Seattle. We could see all the signs. He had posted a bunch of them. He wants a new offensive line, and they wouldn't give it to him. So he wanted to leave Seattle. He's in a new environment now, and he's happy there. He's already visiting the children's hospitals in Denver. So he's basically right at home in Denver. And let me tell you, I really think that Russell Wilson, this Denver Broncos team for the past years, I've said it to myself that if you just add an elite quarterback to this team, they were going to be a Super Bowl contender. And that's exactly what they got with Russell Wilson. So we'll see who this season takes them. Now I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Who do you think is going to who do you think is going to win the AFC East now? Being Miami up their competition, and so is Buffalo.
I'm honestly
I
going to
think the Las
continue
Vegas
with
Raiders
the same
are gonna
pick
win.
that I had last year, who was the division champions with the Buffalo Bills, because I think that the Bills still have a top 5 QB in Josh Allen. They upgraded their defense. The Allen and Diggs combination is very good, not in person but also for fantasy. That's an amazing 50 to 60% point per week you'll get, obviously. And so I think it's going to go Buffalo, Miami, New England, and then typical Jets finishing in 4th.
All right, well, we'll see how the season takes us. So anyways, that's all for today. So signing off, I'm Nick Slane.
And I'm Alec Gluckman, and that is your money-making end zones, boys.